I love the Ninja Turtles, from the original movies to the cartoons to the new live action movies and even the video games. They are all amazing. I'm Man217 and today I'm going to be drawing an epic poster for the new movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Let's get started. It amazes me how long the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been a part of my life. From the original live action movies all the way to now with this new cartoon which is so stylized, kind of reminiscent of the Spider-Verse movies. And it is incredible. It got me practicing my ninja skills like I did in the past with the live action movies. I would practice my sweet ninja skills all day, and every time I seen a pizza shop, I would beg my parents to stop because I had to try and find the best, stretchiest, cheesiest pizza ever. I felt that a top tier ninja had to have the top tier pizza and kick people, of course. At first, my favorite Ninja Turtle was the great Leonardo. He is the fearless leader and my favorite color is blue, so it just made sense. Plus, he has those awesome twins. No, not those twins, the twin swords. He is so awesome, but after months of training and eating pizza, I realized I'm not much like Leo. I can be a leader and I can make the tough decisions like which pizza is better, Domino's or Pizza Hut? Pizza Hut, of course. Let me know in the comments down below what's your favorite pizza. I know New York pizza reigns supreme. But I'm not like Leo. I'm more like Mikey. The funny, hungry, fun-loving, butt-kicking jokester Michelangelo. Mikey is hilarious, so when I'm drawing him, I needed to make sure I captured that in his look, so I gave him a big smile. I was always joking around and cracking jokes, and I felt like that was a perfect fit between me and Mikey. So he became my favorite Ninja Turtle. I didn't care too much for the orange color, but we had too much in common for me to ignore. Our love for pizza and our love of laughter. I really enjoyed drawing this one. It brought me back to my old memories with Michelangelo, his face, his facial expression, even his pose. It was a lot of fun to draw him. It made me smile. And real quick, look at them feet though. For all you feet people out there. They kind of look like my wife's feet. Love you, baby. I even had my dad make me some amazing nunchucks, and I practiced for a whole hour. A whole hour before I had a nunchuck accident, and then never again. Never ever again. Moving on to my all-time favorite Ninja Turtle and my current favorite, and it's never gonna change again, Donatello. He became my favorite when my parents refused to get me some twin daggers. Thanks, parents. Ruining my hopes and dreams. All I wanted to do was be a cool Ninja Turtle. But my dad did get me this awesome stick he found in the backyard, and I started practicing my sweet Donatello ninja moves. Although Donatello seemed a little bit more caring and smart, when he had that stick in his hand, he was a problem. I did spend a lot of my time studying to be like Donatello, and that made my parents happy, but most of my time was spent whacking things with that stick. There is something that just seems so fun about hitting people with a stick. I love how this new movie captures the personalities with the characters' looks, something that the new live action movies did. They kind of changed the design of the characters based on who they are. So they gave Donatello glasses and gap teeth, which I do hate that stereotype. The nerdy one has to have glasses and needs braces. I don't like that. But he still looks kinda awesome. I think they look great and I cannot wait to render these characters, so oh snap. When I'm rendering my piece, I have to remember that this new style in this movie is very textured, and they also have some 2D elements in there along with the 3D world. You can see like these dark black lines on certain places, and they leave that 2D drawn look inside the movie, and I love that. So while I'm rendering them, I gotta make sure I use textures. I render them like I would normally do it, but when I'm done with the rendering and I'm done with all the lighting, I added a layer on top, set it to an overlay layer or a multiply layer, bring down the opacity, and use a watercolor brush and just drop in that watercolor texture in certain places. One bad habit I have is rendering before I do the background. I want to get straight to the fun part of the rendering. I don't really like doing backgrounds, so sometimes I skip it and I forget. But you want to do your backgrounds and your scenery before you do your rendering. And the reason is the scenery and the objects in the scenery will influence where the light is interacting with the characters and how the light is interacting with the characters. So I decided to draw a night sky background with a reddish background that I seen in the trailers because it complements the green of the turtles. And I draw a big moon, so the light from the moon will light the characters differently. So you need to make sure you draw that in before you render all the characters. They're not all standing in the same spot, in the same pose, so the light will be bouncing on them and off of them in different places. So do your backgrounds before you do your rendering. It's a very bad habit that I have that I'm trying to break from it, and I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. Another thing I want to point out is while I am rendering Donatello, you can see there are some gaps in his drawing, and that's because I put a mask on him. And no, I'm not talking about the mask on his eyes. I put in a layer mask so that he doesn't block Leonardo. I have Donatello on a layer above Leonardo, so he should be in front of him. But I only want that stick to be in front of him. Everything else I want to be behind him. And to capture that, I use the layer mask to kind of just erase certain things that will be behind Leo. I use a layer mask instead of the eraser because erasers are too destructive. If I wanted to move him around or move the characters around, I can just remove the mask and my drawing will still be there. If I use the eraser, I would have to redraw the parts that I already took out. And I don't want that. While I'm rendering, I'm usually using a regular basic soft brush and hard brush. I like to use the soft airbrush and bring up the hardness all the way. It gives it a more painterly style look, but you gotta make sure you also blend things in after that. You need some hard edges and some soft edges, so be careful with that airbrush. But like I mentioned earlier, this style is really textured, so if you have some nice soft textured brushes, then you can use those too. I also use the watercolor brushes to do my rendering as well as the airbrushes just to see if I can do it. Moving on to Raphael, I didn't forget to talk about him. I love Raphael, but so did everyone else. He was everybody's favorite. That's why I didn't really pick him to be my favorite. I didn't want to ride the wave. Also, I couldn't practice with the twin daggers. Thanks, Mom. I remember one of my little cousins who loved the Ninja Turtles, but Raphael was by far his favorite. We had a little family get together and a bunch of my cousins showed up and we were playing video games. And the game we played was Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus versus mode. Basically, it's a mode that you just beat each other up. The rules of the game, the way we played it, is two people would fight and one person would win, one person would lose. The loser gives the controller over to the next person and the winner stays on the controller until somebody can dethrone them. So as long as you kept winning, you never had to stop playing. My little cousin came and he picked Raphael, and one by one, he just kept destroying us. I picked Michelangelo to start just for some practice, and he beat me. Then the next person came up, he beat them. One at a time, he just slaughtered us, making the Shredder proud. It went around the full circle of players, and he was still on the controller, and when he got to that last person and beat them, he yelled, "Who can stop me now?" So it was my turn again. And like I said, I picked Mikey before just for practice, but I was a Donnie main, Donnie being my favorite turtle. This time, I picked Donatello. We pressed start to begin our fight. I was nervous, sweat dripped down my face. I seen everybody looking on to me. Will I make Master Splinter proud? Will I avenge my fallen comrades? The match began. And I destroyed him. Destroyed him. I don't even think he got a hit off on me. Okay, Donatello was my main character I always practiced with, so I was really good with him. So he stood no chance. And he cried and cried. It was awesome. But back to Raphael, I love his design in this movie. It's very similar to the new live action with the kind of do-rag bandana thing over his whole head. And I love that look. And I feel like they made him a little bit bulkier than the rest of them. And I love that. And now, because I want to make this a nice, cool poster, I have to add the logo for the movie. Then I add a vignette that will make the edges fade into a black because that makes it look more cinematic. Then I add some sparks, set it to a screen mode, and sparks just make everything look way cooler. And here it is, my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie poster. I love the way it came out. I cannot wait to watch the movie. Let me know in the comments down below if you watched it and if it's awesome. And if you like this sort of thing, you can watch this video right here. It's awesome. Hit subscribe, hit like, hit the bell, and remember, I'm awesome. I think. Thanks for watching.